a competitor with 301, Kerry Hamilton and Almora Pepe Style. Standing by then, 302, Jason Lindley, 303, Bradley Comiskey, 304, Oliver Salerno, 305, Kimberly Salmon, 306, Len Johnson, 307, Bryony Puttycombe, 308, Rowan Marks, 309, John Turvey, 310, Shari Knutson, 311, Jason Comiskey, 312, Jock Weston, 313, Will Crosby, 314, Joe Payne, 315, Pete Comiskey, and 316, Mark Hutton. If those competitors could please stand by. We are underway again with our McKechnie Open Campdraft. And on camp we watch competitor 301, Kerry Hamilton, Almora Pepe Style. This is her own nomination. And Kerry hails from Ridgelands. Into the camp will be then 302, Jason Lindley, as soon as Kerry is clear. And standing by 303, Bradley Comiskey. She calls for the gate on course. Competitor 301, Kerry Hamilton, Almora's Pepe Style. And we had a camp score of 15.5 for Kerry Hamilton and Almora Pepe Style. The 21 in the first round, that's a total of 36.5 points. We now watch competitor 302, Jason Lindley, and Miss Pepto Elena. Had a previous score of 87. We'll be looking to add to that this afternoon. Standing by 303, Bradley Comiskey, 304, Oliver Salerno, 305, Kimberly Salmon, 306, Len Johnson. Out of the camp now, competitor 302, Jason Lindley, and Miss Pepto Elena. Looking to that 87 that he had in the first round. Bradley's on camp. Bradley Comiskey, 303, Precious Duck. Score for Jason Lindley and Miss Pepto Lena, owned by Lance Spanigal, has a cutout score of 23, horsework 62, course 4 for an 89. With an 87 in the previous round, that is a total of 176 points. 176 for Jason Lindley and Miss Pepto Lena. Next competitor, 303, Bradley Comiskey and Precious Duck, comes into this round with the first round score of 22. Standing by, we should have 304, Oliver Salerno, 305, Kimberly Salmon, 306, Len Johnson, 307, Bryony Puttycombe, 308, Rowan Marks, 309, John Turvey, 310, Shari Knutson, 311, Jason Comiskey, 312, Jock Weston, 313, Will Crosby, 314, Joe Payne, and 315, Pete Comiskey. Those competitors can stand by, but you currently watch Bradley Comiskey and Precious Duck. Is competitor 303 in the draw. Score for Bradley Comiskey and Precious Duck. Cut out 21, horsework 60.5, course 4 for an 85.5 with his 22 from the previous round. That's a total of 107 and 1/2. 107.5 there for Bradley Comiskey and Precious Duck. From Average Cattle now is competitor 304, Oliver Salerno with Son of Hercules. He comes into this second round with an 87.5 from the previous. Standing by 305, Kimberley Salmon, Smith Family Eve. 306, Len Johnson's Prince. 307, Bryony Puttycombs, EP DC Cat. 308, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks, Sharapova. 309, John Tovey's Hugo. 310, Sherry Knutson's Indy. 311, Jason Comiskey's Colombo. And 312, Jock Weston's Roxy. And all the way from the Gold Coast is our next competitor out, Oliver Salerno, competitor 304 with Son of Hercules. He has a previous score of 87.5 points. Kimberley's on camp for 305 with Smith Family Eve. And Oliver will get a score shortly. Cut out 18, horsework 57.5, course 4 for a total of 79.5 points at an 87.5 in the first round, and has now a total score of 167 for Oliver Salerno and Son of Hercules. We watch Graham Kemp's nomination, 305, ridden by Kimberley Salmon, Smith Family Eve. This combination had a 78.5 in the previous round. Standing by 306, Len Johnson's Prince. 307, Bryony Puttycomb, EP DC Cat. 308, Rowan Marks, Turner Marks, Sharapova. 309, John Tovey's Hugo. Kimberley heads out on course with Graham Kemp's Smith Family Eve. And she will get a cutout score. It's a cutout of 16 points with her 78.5 in the first round. That's a total of 94.5 points for Kimberley Salmon and Smith Family Eve. Now watch competitor 306, Len Johnson and Prince, had a 21 in the first round. Standing by 307, Bryony Puttycomb. 308, Rowan Marks. 309, John Turvey. 310, Sherry Knutson. We watch outside competitor 306, Len Johnson and Prince. Score for Len Johnson and Prince cut out to 20.5, horsework 56, course 3 for a 79.5. The 21 in the previous round, that's a total of 101.5 points for Len Johnson and Prince. Next competitor 307, Bryony Puttycomb, EP DC Cat. Standing by 308, Rowan Marks. 309, John Turvey. 310, Sherry Knutson. 311, Jason Kremiski. 312, Jock Weston. 313, Will Crosby. 314, Joe Payne. 315, Pete Comiskey. 316, Mark Hutton. 317, Danny Kogel. 318, Will Durkin. 319, Jamie Gray. 320, Mark Buttsworth. 321, Kylie Graham. 322, Lexi Payne. And 323, Ben Seeds. Please stand by. Call for the outside now. Competitor 305, is Bryony Puttycomb. and EPDC Cat had a previous score of 87.5 points. Bryony will be looking to add to that. She comes in as competitor 307. 308 is on camp, Rowan Marks. Stand by 309, John Turvey. Score for Bryony Puttycombe, EPDC Cat, cut out 22 with an 87.5 in the first round is a total of 109.5. 308 we watch now, Rowan Marks, Queensland competitor, riding Turner Marks Sharapova. Had a previous score of 88. Standing by 309, John Turvey's Hugo, 310, Sherry Knutson's Indy, 311, Jason Comiskey's Colombo, and 312, Jock Weston's Roxy. We have a cutout score for Rowan Marks and Turner Marks Sharapova of 22. An 88 is a total of 110. Just having a look through the cattle is competitor 309, John Turvey, and Hugo comes into this second round with an 87.5 from the previous round. Outside 309, John Turvey and Hugo looking to add to that 87.5. Shari's on camp at 310, Sherry Knutson's Indy. Standing by 311, Jason Comiskey, 312, Jock Weston, 313, Will Crosby, 314, Joe Payne, 315, Pete Comiskey, 316, Mark Hutton, 317, Danny Kogel, 318, Will Durkin, 319, Jamie Gray, 320, Mark Buttsworth, 321, Kylie Graham, 322, Lexi Payne, 323, Ben Seeds, and 324, Mark will be John Mulcahy. And score there for John Turvey and Hugo. Cut out 22, horsework 61, course 4 for an 87, with an 87.5 previously. Total score of 174.5 points. 174.5 points for John Turvey and Hugo. I'm sure Lauren doesn't need to be sitting down for this, but at this stage, the Juandah Post Office will be donating $445 to Life Flight. So very big thank you there for Lauren and Kath at the Juandah Post Office for donating $5 for every gate today. We can tell you to date, that's $445. And a cutout score of 22 for Sherry Knutson's Indy with a 76.5 first round score is a total of 98.5 points for Sherry Knutson and Indy. Next, 311, Jason Comiskey and Colombo had a healthy 89 in the first round. Standing by 312, Jock Weston's Roxy, 313, Will Crosby's Cash, 314, Joe Payne's In Style, 315, Pete Comiskey with Roy, 316, Mark Hutton, Mr. Wilson, 317, Danny Kogel, ICD Cat, 318, Will Durkin, Durkin's Pendant, 319, Jamie Gray, Duck and Down, 320, Mark Buttsworth's One Stylish Madonna, 321, Kylie Graham's More Mellow, and 322, Lexi Payne, Please Stand By. Of course, we always like to thank our major partners, SJH Builders, McKechnie Earthmovers and the Pump House. And of course, this is the McKechnie Earthmovers Open Campdraft, second round. you're watching this afternoon, and we do watch competitor 311, Jason Comiskey and Colombo. He's looking to add to his 89 in the first round. 312's on camp, Jock Weston's Roxy, standby 313, Will Crosby's Cash, and 314, Joe Payne's In Style. Yeah, just get the score. And we have a score for Jason Comiskey's Colombo, cut out 16, horsework 58.5, course 4 for 78.5 points with an 89 in the first round. Total of 167.5 points for Jason Comiskey and Colombo. Competitor 312, Jock Weston, is out on course riding Roxy at a previous score of 22.5 points. And we'll have a cutout score for Jock for this round. Of 16.5, gives him a total score of 39. That's a 39 for Jock Weston and Roxy. Next competitor is 313, Will Crosby, and Cash comes into this round with a 21 from the previous round. Standing by 314, Joe Payne, 315, Pete Comiskey, 316, Mark Hutton, 317, Danny Kogel, 318, Will Durkin, 319, Jamie Gray, 320, Mark Budsworth. And we do have a few more stats from up here, just because we can. We have 43% that are 4-pointers. So 43% are 4-pointers and 54% are outside scores. So that's pretty good going for today. So 43% are all have gone completely around, let's put it that way. Full course them, and 54% outside scores. So that's just quite a good statistic for this afternoon. And we're going to have a score there very shortly for Will Crosby and Cash. Score for Will, cut out 20, horsework 60, course 4 for an 84 with a 21 first round score, 105 total. Outside, competitor 314, Joe Payne and In Style, looking to add to his 22 from the first round. Pete Comiskey goes on camp at 315 with Nashville Roy L. Destiny, commonly known as Roy. Standing by then 316, Mark Hutton, Mr. Wilson, 317, Danny Kogel, ICD Cat, and 318, Will Durkin. And we'll give you a score very shortly for Joe Payne and In Style. Cut out a 22, horsework 64, course 4 for a 90. It's a 90-point rounder there for Joe Payne and In Style. We now watch competitor 315, Pete Comiskey with Roy, had a previous score of 86.5 points. Pete calls for his gate and he heads out on the course. Into the camp then goes 316, Mark Hutton and Mr. Wilson. Then we'll have 3:17 Danny Kogel, 3:18 Will Durkin, 3:19 Jamie Gray, 3:20 Mark Busworth, 3:21 Kylie Graham, 3:22 Lexi Payne, 3:23 Ben Seeds, 3:24 John Mulcahy, 3:25 Stuart Wallace, 3:26 Emily Wallace, 3:27 Paul Stone, 3:28 Hayley Knudsen, 3:29 Mitchell Hoy, and 3:30 will be Luke Bennett if those competitors could be standing by, please. And we have a cutout of 17 horsework 61.5, a course 4 for an 82.5 pointer for Pete Comiskey and Roy. Previous score of 86.5 gives him a total of 169 points, 169 for Pete Comiskey and Roy. We now watch competitor 316, Mark Hutton, and Mr. Wilson comes into this round with a 20 from the first round. At the gates 3:17, Danny Kogel. Standing by also 3:18, Will Durkin, 3:19, Jamie Gray. Outside competitor 3:16, Mark Hutton and Mr. Wilson. On camp 3:17, Danny Kogel, ICD Cat. Mark gives it away. We'll give him a camp score though. It's a camp score of 14.5 with a 20 in the first round is a total of 34.5 points for Mark Hutton and Mr. Wilson. Cabra competitor Danny Kogel is currently on camp riding ICD Cat. Comes in as competitor 317, had a 21 in the first round. Following Danny's 3:18, Will Durkin, 3:19 Jamie Gray, 3:20 Mark Busworth, 3:21 Kylie Graham, 3:22 Lexi Payne, 3:23 Ben Seeds, 3:24 John Mulcahy. Danny Kogel's out on course. Competitor 3:17 with ICD Cat. Had a 21 previously. Score for Danny Kogel and ICD Cat, cut out 21, horsework 61.5, course 4 for a total of 86.5. 21 in the first round, total of 107.5. 107.5 points for Danny Kogel and ICD Cat. Now we watch Evan and Kim Acton's Durkin's Pendant, ridden today by Will Durkin, competitor 3:18. He had an 88 in the first round. Certainly will be looking to add to that one. Standing by 3:19, Jamie Gray, 3:20 Mark Busworth, 3:21 Kylie Graham, 3:22 Lexi Payne, 3:23 Ben Seeds, 3:24 John Mulcahy, 3:25 Stuart Wallace, 3:26 Emily Wallace, 3:27 Paul Stone, 3:28 Hayley Knudsen. Outside, competitor 318, Will Durkin and Durkin's Pendant. This is Evan and Kim Acton's nomination. And telling us earlier, I think they have something like 11 horses nominated here for the week. So what a great effort. Will is looking to add to his 88 in the first round. Into the camp should be 319, Jamie Gray. Standby 320, Mark Budsworth. 321, Kylie Graham. Score for Will, cut out 16, horsework 59.5, course 4 for a 79.5 with an 88. It's a total of 167.5 points, 167.5. He has selected his beast, competitor 319, Jamie Gray, duck and down. At a 76.5 from the previous round. Yep. Mark Budsworth goes on camp at 320, One Stylish Madonna. And we'll have 321, Kylie Graham, 322, Lexi Payne, 323, Ben Seeds, 324, John Mulcahy, 325, Stuart Wallace, 326, Emily Wallace, 327, Paul Stone, 328, Hayley Knudsen. And Jamie had a camp score of 23. With his 76.5 is a total of 99.5 points. 99.5 for Jamie Gray and duck and down. Mark is now looking over his cattle. Mark Budsworth, One Stylish Madonna. And of course, One Stylish Madonna is owned by Chris Cummins. Mark comes into this second round with a first round score of 69.5 points. Kylie Graham, he'll be next, competitor 321 with More Mellow. Then we'll have 322, Lexi Payne, and Mark is out on course. Riding Chris Cummings, One Stylish Madonna. Okay, we will have a score for Mark Budsworth very shortly. Cut out 22.5, 62.5 for horsework, 4 for the course for an 89. With his 69.5 in the previous round, that gives Mark Budsworth a total of 158.5 points. Riding Chris Cummings, One Stylish Madonna. This is our Taroom horsewoman, Kylie Graham, competitor 321 with More Mellow. Had a 65.5 in the first round. 322 goes on camp, Lexi Payne, Little Twirl. Then we have 323, Ben Seeds, Captivating Cat. 324, John Mulcahy's Stratton, Just a Tradition. 325, Stuart Wallace's Spy Cat. 326, Emily Wallace's Arrow Cat. 327, Paul Stone, Stone Age Madam. 328, Hayley Knudsen's Cruisin' One Time, and 329, Mitchell Hoy's Raunchy Lena. Score for Kylie Graham and More Mellow, cut out 22 with a 65.5 is a total of 87.5 points. Mundubra horsewoman Lexi Payne is on camp with Little Twirl. She comes in as competitor 322 with a previous score of 85 points. And she's outside. Lexi Payne and Little Twirl. 323 is on camp now. Ben Seeds, Captivating Cat. 324, John Mulcahy, you'll be next. Score for Lexi Payne and Little Twirl, cut out 22, horsework 59, course 4 for an 85. 85 in the first round, total of 170. 170 for Lexi Payne and Little Twirl. We take this opportunity to thank our judges Trader Wilson and Al Sullivan for accepting the opportunity to judge the McKechnie Earthmoving Open Campdraft at the Willinga Juandah Plains Campdraft for 2024. And very big thank you to Willinga Pastoral Co for providing all of the cattle all week for our competitors. And it's 3:23 we watch. Ben Seeds, Captivating Cat. He had a 22 in the first round. Standing by, 3:24, John Mulcahy. 3:25, Stuart Wallace. 3:26, Emily Wallace. 3:27, Paul Stone. 3:28, Hayley Knudsen. 3:29, Mitchell Hoy. 3:30, Luke Bennett. 3:31, Matt Hoffman. 3:32, Ben Hall. 3:33, Ben Tapp. 3:34, Ken Perrott. 3:35, William Chugg. 3:36, Joel Hill. 3:37, David Reeder. 3:38, Roger Boschhammer. 3:39, Michael Reid. 3:40, Loretta Smith. 3:41, Cameron Webster. But we watch competitor 3:23, Ben Seeds and Captivating Cat. The score for you for Ben Seeds very, very shortly. We now watch competitor 3:24, John Mulcahy. Stratton, just for tradition. He leaves the camp with a previous score of 73. Stewie Wallace is on camp at 3:25 with Spy Cat. Standing by then 3:26, Emily Wallace. 3:27, Paul Stone. Just updating, Ben Seeds had a camp score of 15.5, previous score 22 for a total score of 37.5 points. And of course we just saw Johnny Mulcahy and Stratton, just a tradition run, and his score was 22.5 in the camp, 60 for horsework, 4 for the course for an 86.5. With his 73 in the first round is a total of 159.5 points for John Mulcahy and Stratton, just a tradition. Stewie Wallace we watch, competitor 3:25, riding Sky Cat. Had a lovely healthy 90 in the first round. The score for Stewie Wallace and Sky Cat, cut out 21, horsework 63, course 4 for an 88 with his 90 in the first round. That is a total of 178 points. 178 for Stewie Wallace and Sky Cat. Next competitor 3:26, Emily Wallace and Arrow Cat. She had a first round score of 86. Standing by 3:27, Paul Stone. 3:28, Hayley Knudsen. 3:29, Mitchell Hoy. So that was a score of 21 for Emily Wallace and Arrow Cat, competitor 326. She had an 86 in the first round, total of 107. Now we watch competitor 327, Paul Stone and Stone Age Madam. Paul had a 21 in the first round. So following Paul, we'll have 328, Hayley Knudsen, 329, Mitchell Hoy, 330, Luke Bennett, 331, Matt Hoffman, 332, Ben Hall, 333, Ben Tapp, 334, Ken Perrott, and 335, William Chugg. Please stand by. We just take this opportunity to thank Jeremy for his great work running the bar. He's been doing a great job over the last few days and will continue to for the rest of the week. And of course, we all love our thirst here at Willinga at Juandah Plains, and we ask you to join us at the Outstation Watermain Bar from 6 till 7 this afternoon, and drop by and see everyone's favourite barkeeper, that's Jeremy, and see our specials for the day. So look forward to seeing you over there at the Outstation Water Main Bar. And I'll have a score there for Paul Stone. He had a cutout of 21. Horsework 57, course 3 for an 81. With a 21 from the previous round, that's a total of 102, 102 points for Paul Stone and Stone Age Madam. This is Hayley Knudsen, cruising one time, 328. She heads out on course with her previous score of 16.5. Mitchell Hoy goes on camp at 329, Raunchy Lena. We watch Hayley Knudsen, cruising one time, competitor 328. So I believe there are some specials over at the bar tonight between 6 and 7. They don't really need to have too many specials. Their drinks are like $5 each. So they definitely have discounted drinks over there anyway, but there will be some specials if you'd like to head over and see Jeremy. And a very big thank you to Jeremy for his great work. And we'll have a score for Hayley, cut out 22, horsework 63, course 4 for an 89, with a 16.5 in the first round. That's a total of 105.5 points. For competitor 328, Hayley Knudsen, riding cruising one time. Outside 320, nearly outside, 329, Mitchell Hoy and Raunchy Lena comes into this second round with a previous score of 84.5 points. Luke Bennett goes on camp, 330. Standing by 331, Matt Hoffman, 332, Ben Hall, 333, Ben Tapp, 334, Ken Perrott. 22 there for camp for Mitchell Hoy and Raunchy Lena. His 84.5 is a total score of 106.5. We now watch competitor 330. This is Kim and Evan Acton's Malungra's Moonbeam, ridden here this afternoon by Luke Bennett. This particular combination was very, very successful, and they were the winner of this draft last year. Luke hasn't had quite so much luck in the first round. He has a 22 he brings into the second round. Calls through his gate. He's out on course. Competitor 330, Luke Bennett, riding Evan and Kim Acton's Malungra's Moonbeam. And this time round, he has a 23 for camp. With his 22 is a total of 45 points for Luke Bennett and Malungra's Moonbeam. 331 is our next competitor, Matt Hoffman and Spider Bait. He had an 81.5 in the previous round. Charters Towers horseman. Out on course, Matt Hoffman with Spider Bait. He's competitor 331, looking to add to his 81.5 from the previous round. Ben Hall goes on camp with Chisholm's Cash, 332. Standby 333, Ben Tapp, 334, Kent Parrott, 335, William Chugg, 336, Joel Hill, 337, David Reader, 338, Roger Boschhammer, 339, Michael Reid, 340, Loretta Smith. And Matt Hoffman has a cutout of 20 with his 81.5 in the first round. Is a total of 101.5 points. Ben's out on course, competitor 332, Ben Hall, Chisholm's Cash. He had a previous score of 89. .333's on camp, Ben Tabb, standby 334, Kent Parrott. Following Ken, we'll have 335, William Chugg, 336, Joel Hill. But we watch competitor 332, Ben Hall and Chisholm's Cash. Cutout 22, Horsework 63, course 4 for an 89 with an 89 in the first round. Ben Hall and Chisholm's Cash go into the second round with a total score of 178 points. And you realise it's all happening tonight over at the bar. There's some special drink specials over there with Jeremy. There's going to be the Calcutta from the Maiden for Maiden final, and also they will be auctioning the beautiful fire pit from Taroom Welding Works, and there is a version of it over in the marquee if you want to have a look at that. There's also one down here at the Secretary's box. Now outside we're watching competitor 333, Ben Tapp, riding Don't Look Back. He had an 87 in his first round. Standing by then 334, Ken Parrott. 335, William Chugg. 336, Joel Hill. 337, David Reader. 338, Roger Boschhammer. 339, Michael Reid. 340, Loretta Smith. 341, Cameron Webster. 342, Andrew Turvey. 343, Robert Durkin. 344, Matthew Moffat. 345, Rick Hopkins. 346, Steve Comiskey. 347, Tom Denson. And Ben Tapp has a camp score of 22, Horsework 59, course 4 for an 85. Together with his 87 from the previous round is a total of 172 points. 172 for Ben Tapp and Don't Look Back. This is our Springshaw horseman riding Meticulous, Ken Parrott, competitor 304. Ken had an 88 from his previous round. And he's outside into the camp. 335, William Chugg. And we'll have 336, Joel Hill. 337, David Reader. 338, Roger Boschhammer. 339, Michael Reid. 340, Loretta Smith. And he's popped another one around. We'll get a score for Ken Parrott and Meticulous. Cutout 21, Horsework 62, course 4 for an 87. 88 previous round gives Ken Parrott and Meticulous a total score of 175. 175, Ken Parrott and Meticulous. This is Lauren Fenger's nomination, Miss Brooks Boone, ridden this afternoon by William Chugg. He's competitor 335 and comes into after a first round score of 21.5 points. He's also very local here, William. He's outside. William Chugg riding Lauren Fingers, Miss Brooks Boone. Into the camp, 336. We'll have Joel Hill and Lloyd. David Reader, you're 327 and will be next on Coolum Recon. Standing by 338, Roger Boschhammer, 339, Michael Reed, 340, Loretta Smith, 341, Cameron Webster, 342, Andrew Turvey, and 343, Robert Durkin. And we have a cutout score of 16 for William, with a first round score of 21.5, is a total of 37.5 points for Lauren Fingers, Miss Brooks Boone. .336 we watched, Joel Hill riding Lloyd. He had an 85.5 in his first round. And he's out on course. Into the camp goes 337, David Reader, Coolum Recon. .338 at the gate, Roger Boschhammer, Nirabo Serena. And Joel had a camp score of 16 with his 85.5 gives Joel Hill and Lloyd a total score of 101.5 points. Just looking through the Willinga Pastoral Company cattle is competitor 337, David Reader, and Coolum Recon. David had a first round score of 15.5 points. Standing by, we have 338, Roger Boschhammer, 339, Michael Reed, 340, Loretta Smith, 341, Cameron Webster, 342, Andrew Turvey, 343, Robert Durkin, 344, Matthew Moffat, 345, Rick Hopkins, 346, Steve Comiskey, 347, Tom Denson, 348, Morgan Marks, 349, Lachlan Durkin, 350, Brendan Fitzgerald, and 351, Lachlan Thompson. Please stand by. But you are watching currently competitor 337, David Reader, and Coolum Recon. Score for David Reader and Coolum Recon, cut out 22.5, horsework 61, course 4 for an 87.5 with a 15.5 previously. Gives him a total score of 103 for David Reader and Coolum Recon. This is one of our sponsors, Roger Boschhammer, riding Nirabo Serena. Comes out as competitor 338. With a previous score of 21.5 points. And we'll have a camp score for Roger of 21.5. With his 21.5 is a total of 43 points for Roger Boschhammer. 329 is our next competitor, Michael Reed. Wainola swing time. Michael scored a 21 in the first round. Then we'll have 340, Loretta Smith, 341, Cameron Webster, 342, Andrew Turvey, 343, Robert Durkin, 344, Matthew Moffat, 345, Rick Hopkins, 346, Steve Comiskey, and 347, Tom Denson. Please stand by. Take this opportunity to thank our event partners, Outstation Water, Henry Earthmoving, Power Energy, Dalverton Angus, Pumps and Solar, Cree Santa Gertrudis, Roma Wire and Steel, Herefords Australia, Sufcon, Power Contracting, Glenelg Angus and Anna Branch Santa Gertrudis. On course number 339, Michael Reid, riding Manola Swing Time, looking to add to his 21 from the previous round. Loretta goes on camp at 340, Loretta Smith, 4 hooves inconspicuous. And then at the gate, 341, Cameron Webster, followed by 342, Andrew Turvey. And that was a cutout of 20 for Michael Reid, Manola Swing Time, with his 21 is a total of 41. I'm currently watching competitor 340, all the way from Mara, Loretta Smith, and 4 hooves inconspicuous. She heads out onto the course with a previous score of 75.5 points. Cameron Webster comes on camp at 341, standby 342, Andrew Turvey, 343, Robert Durkin, 344, Matthew Moffat, 345, Rick Hopkins, 346, Steve Comiskey, 347, Tom Denson, 348, Morgan Marks, 349, Lachlan Durkin, and 350, Brendan Fitzgerald. And she heads towards her gate, competitor 340, Loretta Smith, and 4 hooves inconspicuous. Cutout 20, horsework 57, course 3 for a total of 80 with a 75.5 previously. Gives Loretta Smith and 4 hooves inconspicuous a total score of 155.5 points. 155.5 points. This is Peter and Yvonne Webster's nomination. Lucille, ridden this afternoon by Cameron Webster, their son. He comes in as competitor 341 with the previous score of 85.5 points. 342 heads into camp, Andrew Turvey and Ebony. At the gate we should have 343 Robert Durkin and then 344 Matthew Moffat. You will follow Robert. A score coming through for Peter and Yvonne Webster's Lucille, ridden this afternoon by Cameron Webster. Cutout 23, horsework 62.5, course 4 for a total of 89.5 points. With his 85.5 in the previous round, gives Cameron a total of 175 points. 175 for Cameron Webster and Lucille. This obviously is a very local competitor, Andrew Turvey and Ebony, competitor 342. Had a previous score of 22 with Ebony. Andrew leaves the camp, heads out onto the course. Andrew Turvey and Ebony into the camp is 343, Robert Durkin, Yarra Call Girl. Standing by 344, Matthew Moffat, 345, Rick Hopkins, 346, Steve Comiskey, 347, Tom Denson, 348, Morgan Marks, 349, Lachlan Durkin, 350, Brendan Fitzgerald. Score for Andrew of 22, previous score of 22, total of 44. So 44 for Andrew Turvey and Ebony. This is competitor 343 in the draw. Robert Durkin, Yarrawa Call Girl, had a previous score of 88. Robert heads out onto the course. Robert Durkin and Yarrawa Call Girl into the camp. 344 Matthew Moffat, JMD Fascinator. Standing by 345 Rick Hopkins, 346 Steve Comiskey, 347 Tom Denson. And we have a cutout score for Robert Durkin and Yarrawa Call Girl of 21.5. His 88 in the previous round is a total of 109.5 points, 109.5 points for Robert Durkin and Yarrawa Call Girl. And he's underway already. Competitor 344 Matthew Moffat, JMD Fascinator. This is D&J Bell's nomination, and he comes into this second round with a first round score of 85.5 points. Rick Hopkins heads on to camp at 345 with Dahlia Suan Cat, standing by 346 Steve Comiskey, 347 Tom Denson, 348 Morgan Marks, 349 Lachlan Durkin, 350 Brendan Fitzgerald, 351 Lachlan Thompson, 352 Kerry Turner, 353 Troy Palmer, 354 Carolyn McNabb, 355 Terry Hartman. And Matthew Moffat has a camp score of 23 with his 85.5 in the first round. I'll give you a full total shortly. For Bill and Christine Matten's Darlena Suan Cat. Just checking a judge's score. And he will get a course score. I'll have that for you very shortly for Matthew Moffat and JMD Fascinator. We now watch competitor 345, Rick Hopkins and Dahlia Suan Cat, the previous score of 87.5 points. This particular horse is owned by Bill and Christine Matten. And we do have a score through now for Matthew Moffat and JMD Fascinator, cut out 23, horsework 64.5, course 4 for 91.5 with a previous score of 85.5. That's a total score of 177. It was worth waiting for JMD Bell, JMD Fascinator, ridden by Matthew Moffat.
Can you please call over Matt Moffat? We'd like to see him at the Secretary's office, and also Jay Hall.
Jay Hall and Matt Moffat, if you could please come to the Secretary's box as soon as you possibly can. Matthew Moffat and Jay Hall. And we have a score for Rick Hopkins and Dahlia Suan Cat, cut out 22, horsework 57.5, course 4 for an 83.5 with an 87.5 in the previous round for a total score of 171 for Rick Hopkins and Dahlia Suan Cat. We now watch competitor 346, Steve Comiskey, and One Night Stand. He's out there trying to add to his 78 points in the previous round, and he has a camp score of 23, total of 101 for Steve Comiskey, One Night Stand. 347 is next, Tom Denson and Hazelwood Mia Conacher. First round score of 22. Standing by 348 Morgan Marks, Ricochet, 349 Lachlan Durkin's Georgette, 350 Brendan Fitzgerald's Rainman, 351 Lachlan Thompson's Hoodie, 352 Kerry Turner's Turner Stud Matlock, 353 Troy Palmer's Short Fuse, 354 Carolyn McNabb's Stylish Lenette, and 355 Terry Hartman's Barnett's Promise. If those competitors could please stand by. So we need Matt Hoffman and Jay Hall. Apologies there, Matt Moffat. We don't need you. So just a correction there, it's Matt Hoffman we would like to see at the Secretary's box, and Jay Hall. And you're watching competitor 347, Tom Denson, and Hazelwood Mia Conacher. He had a 22 in the first round. And score for Tom Denson and Hazelwood Mia Conacher, cut out 16, horsework 61, course 4 for an 81. 22 first round for a total of 103. That's 103 points for Tom Denson, Hazelwood Mia Conacher. 348 is our next competitor, Morgan Marks with Ricochet. Morgan had an 84.5 in the first round. Standing by 349, Lachlan Durkin, Durkin's Georgette, and 350, Brendan Fitzgerald's Rain Man. Short break, and we'll go with 351, Lachlan Thompson's Hoodie, 352, Kerry Turner, Tony Stud, Matlock, 353, Troy Palmer, Short Fuse. Outside, competitor 348, Morgan Marks and Ricochet. He's looking to add to an 84.5 on the first round. Lockie Durkin's on camp with Durkin's Georgette, 349. Then we'll have 350, Brendan Fitzgerald's Rain Man. Score for Morgan Marks and Ricochet. I'll have that for you very, very shortly. Cut out 16, horsework 61.5. Nil for the course. Well, no, that's wrong. We need to fix this. We'll get you a score very shortly for Morgan Marks and Ricochet. Okay, so just a correction there for competitor 348, Morgan Marks, Ricochet, cut out 16, horsework 61.5, course 4 for an 81.5. First round score of 84.5, total of 166 for Morgan Marks and Ricochet. And we have a score there for Lachlan Durkin and Durkin's Georgette, cut out of 22, horsework 61, course 4 for an 87 with an 83.5 in the previous round. Gives a total of 170.5 points, 170.5 there for Lockie Durkin and Durkin's Georgette. And this is on camp now. We're catching up. 350, Brendan Fitzgerald and Rain Man. He comes into this round with an 82 from the previous round. Plus I have a change of cattle after Brendan, and we'll continue on with 351, Lachlan Thompson's Hoodie, and 352, Kerry Turner, Turner's Stud, Matlock. But if you've just logged on, you're watching the McKechnie Earthmoving Open Draft, second round. So unfortunately that was a no score there for Brendan. And Rain Man, he had an 82 in the first round, goes out with an 82. Brendan Fitzgerald and Rain Man, competitor 350. Now I'm going to hand you over to Karen Butters to continue until the end of the second round. Thanks, Karen.
Yeah, how are you?
Thanks so much, Leslie. In camp, we are watching competitor 351, Lachlan Thompson on Hoodie, and he's building on a first round score of 85. And standby, 352, Kerry Turner, 353, Troy Palmer, 354, Carolyn McNabb. Score through there for Lachlan Thompson of a 16, a 62 and a half, and a 4. An 82 and a half together with his 85 gives him a total of 167 and a half. In camp now, looking over her cattle, we have competitor 352, Kerry Turner, riding Turner's stud Matlock. She's got a 22 in the first round. And stand by at the gate, 353, Troy Palmer on Short Fuse, 354. Carolyn McNabb on Stylish Lynette, 355, Terry Hartman on Barnett's Promise, 356, Thomas Hinman on Steel, 357, Kimberly Salmon on SDP Scott David, 358, Matt Knutson on Haymack Zara, 359, Kurt Hanrahan on Bobadil Destiny's Diamond, and 360 will be Rob Leach on Pillvale Truce.
Did you? I'll give this one a
Score there for Kerry Turner, 22 only, together with a 22 from the first round, gives her a total of 44. In camp now, looking over his cattle, competitor 353, Troy Palmer, riding Short Fuse, and he's building on an 88 and a half on the first round. And stand by at the gate, 354, Carolyn McNabb on Stylish Lynette, 355, Terry Hartman, and 356, Tom Hinman. So we have those trade stalls on site. We have the Pump House, who are the sponsors of the live stream and the big screen partners. So please go up and see the boys there at the pump house. We have the Black Box Co. That's our canteen up there. Then we have Ollie Homes on site, and we have Pumps and Solar, and they are the sponsors of the team's draft. So please go and have a look at their trade stalls this weekend. Of course, we have the Road Roaster coffee van. So I'm sure the smoothies or the milkshakes or the coffees up there, and we have Deb's Catering in that beautiful Black Box Co canteen. So please go and see Deb up there, providing quality food at affordable prices for our event. So score there through for Troy Palmer of 16 only, together with his 88.5, gives him a total aggregate of 104.5. Into camp, they're looking over a cattle. We have competitor 354, Carolyn McNabb, on Stylish Lynette, and she's building on a 16. On standby at the gate will be 355, Terry Hartman, 356, Tom Hinman, 357, Kimberly Salmon, and 358, Mac Knutson. Outside we have Carolyn McNabb riding Stylish Lynette. She will go out with a camp score of 21 only, together with a 16 from first round. She'll get a total there of 37. $355 is in camp, Terry Hartman on Barnett's Promise. He's going to build on a 20.5 from the first round. On standby then at the gate, 356 Tom Hinman on Steel, 357 Kimberly Salmon on SDP Scott David, 358 Matt Knutson, 359 Kurt Hanrahan, 360 Rob Leach, 361 Penny McIntosh, 362 Jackie Knutson, 363 Ben Fogg, 364 Will Durkin, 365 Jodie Cowley, 366 Alan Heading. So tonight at 7 p.m. sharp, we're going to have that Life Flight auction, that beautiful fire pit, kindly donated by Taroom Welding Works. We have that maiden for Maiden Calcutta. So get your people together and get ready for that maiden for Maiden Calcutta. We have already raised today $550 with our $5 gate donation from the wonderful Wandoan Post Office. It's $550 in the bank for Life Flight to go with the Life Flight auction tonight. So a wonderful cause being the Life Flight. Score through there for Terry Hartman of a 15 only, together with his 20.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 35.5. In camp now, looking over his cattle, 356 is Tom Hinman, riding Steel. He's building on a 22 from the first round. Score through there for Tom Hinman of 22.59 and a half, and 4 for a total of 85 and a half, together with his 22 from the first round. Gives him a total of 107 and a half. In camp now, we have competitor 357, Kimberly Salmon, and she's riding the Sam and Sarah Campbell nomination, SDP Scott David. She's building on a first round of 84 and a half. Stand by at the gate will be 358 Mac Knutson on Haymac Zara. 359 on standby, Kurt Hanrahan on Bobadil Destiny's Diamond. 360 Rob Leach on Pillvale Truce. 361 Penny McIntosh will ride Coolum Trinket. 362 will be Jackie Knutson riding Snip. And 363 will be Ben Fogg riding Backchat. Score there for Kimberly Salmon of 22 only, together with an 84 and a half from the first round, gives her a total of 106 and a half. In camp looking over his cattle, competitor 358 is Matt Knutson riding Haymac Zara, and he's building on his first round score of 87. Standby at the gate next into camp 359 Kurt Hanrahan, 360 on standby Rob Leach, and 361 Penny McIntosh. Score through there for Matt Knutson of 21 only, together with his 87 from the first round, gives him a total of 108. In camp now, we have competitor 359, Kurt Hanrahan riding Bobadil Destiny's Diamond. He's building on a first round score of 22. Next into camp will be 360 Rob Leach on Pillvale Truce, 361 Penny McIntosh riding Coolum Trinket, 362 Jackie Knutson on Snip. You are watching the completion of the second round of the McKechnie Earthmoving Open this afternoon. We'll be running through to our completing of this second round, and then we will be going on to this afternoon with that cutout for the maiden riders. So anyone in maiden riders with 23, be ready this afternoon about 5 o'clock to run that off, and if we need to, it could be a runoff for the Open, the second round of the Open, with that $1,000 prize money up for grabs. So we will run that off this afternoon. Score through there for Kurt Hanrahan of 23, 60 and 4 for an 87, together with his 22 from the first round, gives him a total of 109. In camp now, competitor 360, Rob Leach riding Pillvale Truce. He's building on a first round score of 77 and a half. On standby at the gate will be competitor 361, Penny McIntosh riding Coolum Trinket. 362 Jackie Knutson, 363 Ben Fogg, 364 Will Durkin, 365 Jodie Cowley, 366 Alan Heading, 367 Tony Menkins, 368 Wade Warrion, 369 Harvey Wakeford, and 370 Anna Hoy. Score there for Rob Leach on Appeal Vale Truce of 22, 62 and 4 for an 88. Together with his 77.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 165.5. In camp now, looking over her cattle, is 361 Penny McIntosh riding Coolum Trinket. Coolum is owned by Ellen C. Stewart, and they are building on a 79 from the first round. On standby at the gate, 362 Jackie Knutson, 363 Ben Fogg. So that message goes out to all maiden for maiden riders with full scores in the maiden. You'll be eligible for the maiden for maiden final. The draw will be sent out this afternoon, and don't forget the Calcutta on the maiden for maiden tonight at 7 p.m. at the bar, followed by that live auction of the Taroom Welding Works fire pit. Score there for Penny McIntosh is a 22, 59 and 4 for an 85. Together with a 79 gives her a total of 164. In camp now, one is 362 Jackie Knutson on Snip. She's building on a first round score of 89. Next into camp will be 363 Ben Fogg, 364 Will Durkin, 365 Jodie Cowley, 366 Alan Heading, and 367 Tony Menkins. Score there for Jackie Knutson of 21, 62 and 4 for an 87. Together with her 89 gives her a total of 176. On camp we watch competitor 363 Tugulawa competitor Ben Fogg on back chat, building on a 21. Next into camp we can see moving in there 364 Will Durkin on Cantor Park Guardian. 365 on standby at the gate Jodie Cowley, 366 Alan Heading and 367 Tony Menkins. Score for Ben Fogg, 20, 60 and 4 for an 84. Together with his 21 gives him a total of 105. In camp now we watch competitor 364 Will Durkin riding Cantor Park Guardian. He's building on a 14.5 from the first round. Standby 365 Jodie Cowley, 366 Alan Heading, 367 Tony Menkins, 368 Wade Warrior, 369 Harvey Wakeford, 370 Anna Hoy, 371 Mick Southern, 372 Ben Hill, 373 Colleen Smith and 374 Matthew Dunn. Score there for Will Durkin, 22.5 for the camp score, 63 for horsework and 4 for the course. It's an 89.5, together with his 14.5 from the first round gives him a total of 104. In camp now, 365. Jodie Cowley. Could we please have a couple of riders out the back there, arena clearers, to hold those cattle back at that gate there, please? Thank you. Score through there for Jodie Cowley of 21 only, together with a 76.5, gives her a total of 97.5 points. In camp 366, Alan Heading riding Macklemore, building on his first round of 78. Next into camp 367, Tony Menkins on Delilah, 368 Wade Warrian, 369 Harvey Wakeford, and 370 Anna Hoy. Score there for Alan Heading of 21 in camp, 62.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, 87.5, together with his 78 from the first round, gives him a 165.5. In camp now, competitor 367, we see Tony Menkins on Delilah looking over his cattle. He'll be building on a score of 89.5. On standby, 368 Wade Warrian, 369 Harvey Wakeford, 370 Anna Hoy. Score there for Tony Menkins of 15 only, together with his 89.5 in the first round, gives him a total of 104.5. In camp 368, Wade Warrian riding Bulwadi Harper, building on a first round score of 89. Next into camp will be 369 Harvey Wakeford, 370 Anna Hoy, and 371 Mick Southern.
Raise on it. Hello. You don't do it. You don't do it. Get up.
Score there for Wade Warrian of 22, 55.5 and 3 for a total of 80.5. Together with his 89 in the first round gives him a total of 169.5. In camp now, competitor 369, Harvey Wakeford on Lexi. Lexi is a Logan Bethel horse, building on a first round of 20. Next into camp will be 370 Anna Hoy on Acres of Romance, 371 Mick Southern on Hostess, 372 Ben Hill on Serena, 373 Colleen Smith on Benera Silvercraft, 374 Matthew Dunn on Younger's Eclipse, 375 Adam Keebler on Her Will Resistance, 376 Evan Hiscock on Cartel, 377 Jay Hall on Hall's Priority, 378 Joe Marr on Villa Cooler Pros and Cons, and 379 Luke McEwen on Valentina's Destiny. Score there for Harvey Wakeford of 13 and a half. Score there for Harvey Wakeford of 13 and a half only, together with his 20 from the first round, gives him a total of 33 and a half. Camp now, competitor 370 Anna Hoy on Acres of Romance. She'll be building on a 75 from the first round. Next into camp on standby, 371 Mick Southern, 372 Ben Hill, and 373 Colleen Smith. Score there for Anna Hoy of a 21 only, together with 75, gives her a total of 96. In camp now, competitor 371 Mick Southern riding Hostess. He's building on his first round score of 22. Stand by at the gate. Next into camp, 372 Ben Hill, 373 will be Colleen Smith, 374 Matthew Dunn, 375 Adam Keebler, 376 Evan Hiscock, and 377 Jay Hall. Score there for Mick Southern of 21 only, together with his 22 from the first round, gives him a total of 43. In camp now, we watch competitor 372 Ben Hill on Serena. He's building on a first round score of 80. Next into camp will be 373 Colleen Smith, 374 Matthew Dunn, and 375 Adam Keebler. Score through there for Ben Hill, 21, 61 and a half for horsework and a 4 for the course for an 86 and a half. Together with his 80 gives him a total of 166 and a half. In camp now, competitor 373, Colleen Smith on Benera Silvercraft, and she's building on her first round score of 86 and a half. Next into camp will be 374 Matthew Dunn on Younger's Eclipse, 375 Adam Keebler on Her Will Resistance, 376 Evan Hiscock on Cartel, 377 Jay Hall on Hall's Priority, 378 will be Joe Marr on Villa Cooler Pros and Cons, 379 Luke McEwen on Valentina's Destiny, 380 Harry Steger on Bell's Magic, 381 Jess Hoffman on Tequila, 382 Gordon Bales on Brandy's Spoonful. Score through there for Colleen Smith of 21.5, together with her 86.5 from the first round. Total score of 108. Camp now, 374. Matthew Dunn riding Young as Eclipse. He's building on a first round of 83.5. Next into camp, 375 Adam Keebler, 376 Evan Hiscock, 377 Jay Hall. Score through for Matthew Dunn, 22, 61.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, 87.5 for the total. Together with an 83.5 gives him a total of 171. In camp now, Toogoolawah competitor 375 Adam Keebler, riding Herwell Resistance, and he's building on his first round of 21. Next into camp will be 376 Evan Hiscock, 377 on standby Jay Hall, 378 Joe Marr, 379 Luke McEwen. Score through there for Adam Keebler of 20.5, 57 and 4 for a total of 81.5, together with his 21 from the first round, gives him a total of 102.5. In camp now, competitor 376 Evan Hiscock on Cartel. He's building on a first round of 87. Next into camp will be 377 Jay Hall on Hall's Priority, 378 Joe Marr on Billa Coola Pros and Cons, 379 Luke McEwen on Valentina's Destiny, 380 Harry Steger on Bell's Magic. Score for Evan Hiscock, 21 for a camp score, 58.5 for horsework, 4 for the course, 83.5, together with his 87, gives him a total of 170.5. In camp now, competitor 377 Jay Hall on horse priority. She's building on a first round score of 88. Next into camp will be 378 Joe Ma. So this wonderful lady has handmade the beautiful perpetual bronze trophy that is the prize today for the prize this week for the McKechnie Earthmoving Open draft. So a very talented lady with these beautiful bronze trophies. Thank you, Jay. Score there for Jay Hall of a 21, 59 and 4. A total of 84 together with her 88 gives her a total of 172. In camp now, competitor 378, we watch Joe Ma riding Billa Cooler, pros and cons. It's building on a 19.5 from the first round. Next into camp will be 379 Luke McEwen, 380 Harry Steger, 381 Jess Hoffman, 382 Gordon Bales, 383 Rowan Marks, 384 Bradley Comiskey, 385 Joe Payne, 386 Rob Newton, 387 John Templeton, and 388 will be Louise Comiskey. Score through there for Joe Ma of a 21, 61 and 4 for an 86, together with his 19.5 gives him a total of 105.5. On camp now, we have competitor 379 Luke McEwen on Valentina's Destiny, building on a first round score of 88. Next in camp will be 380 Harry Steger, 381 Jess Hoffman and 382 Gordon Bales. So competitors, if you have a 23 in the open and we don't get a 24 before the end, we will be running that off this afternoon after the maiden. So if you've got a 23, you need to listen out because we will run that off this afternoon after the maiden. Score there for Luke was a 16 only, together with his 88 gives him a total of 104. In camp now, 380, we watch Harry Steger on Bell's Magic, building on his first round of 16. Next into camp then will be 381 Jess Hoffman on Tequila, 382 Gordon Bales on Brandy's Spoonful, 383 Rowan Marks on Turner Marks Linesman, 384 Bradley Comiskey on Blood Royal, 385 Joe Payne on Cashmont Bling. Score there for Harry Steger of 23, 61 and a half, and a 4 for an 88 and a half, together with his 16 from the first round. Gives him a total of 104 and a half. On camp, we are watching 381 Jess Hoffman on Tequila, and she's building on a 21 and a half in the first round. Moving into camp, 382 Gordon Bales, 383 on standby Rowan Marks, 384 Bradley Comiskey. Score there for Jess Hoffman of a 22 only, together with a 21 and a half from the first round. Gives her a total of 43 and a half. On camp now, we watch competitor 382, Gordon Bales, on Brandy Spoonful, and he's building on a 22 from the first round. Next into camp will be 383, Rowan Marks, 384, Bradley Comiskey, 385, Joe Payne, 386, Rob Newton. Score there for Gordon Bales of 21 only, together with his 22 from the first round. Gives him a total of 43. In camp now, competitor 383, Rowan Marks, on Turner Marks linesman. He's building on an 89 and a half from the first round. Just tidy up the cattle there, I think. Stand by at the gate will be 384 Bradley Comiskey, 385 Joe Payne, and 386 Rob Newton. Winner of the McKechnie Earthmoving Open Draft will be taking home a $50,000 cheque, along with a gold Ride Tough buckle. The amazing perpetual bronze trophy has been handmade by the talented Jay Hall. Thank you to Toowoomba Wholesale Horse Warehouse for providing the embroidered rug for the winner, and to the Champion Choice brow bands for the beautiful garlands. A reminder to competitors with a 23 that in this McKechnie Earthmoving Open second round, any competitor with a 23 in the second round will be required this afternoon, if we don't see a higher score than 23 in the last of this completion of the second round. If we don't see a 23 higher than a 23, those people will be competitors will be required for that cut-off this afternoon after the maiden cutout, sorry. Great big thank you goes out to the team at Willinga, at Juandah Plains team, for moving the cattle through the yards and being so diligent in their work, keeping the grounds clean. So it's an incredible team, and of course led by Andrew and Courtney Turvey. So a great big thank you to you and your team, amazing leaders with a great team, doing a wonderful job. In camp, of course, we have competitor 383. He's chosen his beast, Rowan Marks, on Turner Marks linesman, and he's building on his first round of 89 and a half. We will see competitor 384, Bradley Comiskey, on Blood Royal. Move into camp, 385 on standby Joe Payne, 386 Rob Newton. Score there for Rowan Marks, 22, 62 and 4 for an 88, together with his 89.5 in the first round. Total score of 177.5. In camp now, looking over his cattle, we have competitor 384, Bradley Comiskey, riding Blood Royal. He's building on a first round score of 89. Next into camp will be 385, Joe Payne. On standby, 386, Robert Newton. 387, John Templeton. 388, Louise Comiskey. 389, Rick Hopkins. 390, Byron Davison. 391, Laura Comiskey. 392, Bryony Puddicombe. 393, Jason Comiskey. And 394, Hewan Smith. Score through there for Bradley Comiskey of a 21.5, 62 and 4 for an 87.5, together with his 89 from the first round. There's a total aggregate of 176.5. In camp now, 385, Joe Payne riding Cashmont Bling, and he's building on a first round of 21.5. Next into camp will be 386, Rob Newton. 387 on standby, John Templeton. 388, Louise Comiskey. 389, Rick Hopkins. 390, Byron Davison. 391, Laura Comiskey.
I'll go up there about 400. How many's in it?
Score through for Joe Payne of a 22.5, 52.5 and 3 for a 78. Together with his 21.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 99.5. In camp now, competitor 386, Robert Newton, riding Dust Storm. He's building on his first round score of 22. Next into camp will be 387, John Templeton, riding Sweet Talic Cat. 388 on standby, Louise Comiskey, Savvy Danson Cat. 389, Rick Hopkins on Oaks Spin and Doll. 390, Byron Davison on Berragoon Chorus. And 391, Laura Comiskey will ride Skater. Score there for Rob Newton of 22.5, together with his 22 from the first round. Gives him a total of 44.5. In camp now, 387, John Templeton, riding Luke Hardwick's Sweet Talic Cat. He's building on a first round score of 21.5. Next into camp will be 388 Louise Comiskey, 389 Rick Hopkins, 390 Byron Davison, 391 Laura Comiskey, 392 Bryony Puddicombe, 393 Jason Comiskey, 394 Hewan Smith, 395 Michael Hayes, 396 Pete Comiskey, 397 Craig McNabb and 398 Ben Hall. Score there for John Templeton of 21.5, together with his 21.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 43. In camp, looking over her cattle, 388 Louise Comiskey, riding Savvy Dancing Cat. She's building on a 22 from the first round. 389 will be on standby, Rick Hopkins on Oak Spin and Dole, 390 Byron Davison, 391 Laura Comiskey. So competitors from the maiden in the cutout. We have about 31 competitors left to run this afternoon in the second round, the completion of the second round of the McKechnie Earthmoving Open. And then at 5 o'clock, pretty sure it'll be 5 o'clock that we will run off that cutout. So maiden riders and open riders with a 23, you need to be ready to go because we will run off that cut out for the open, second round of the open, worth that $1,000, so get ready. Score there for Louise Comiskey of 16 only, together with a 22 is a total of 38. In camp now, see, he's given the go-ahead for 389 Rick Hopkins on Oak Spin and Dole. It's building on a first round of 15.5. Standby 390 Byron Davison on Berrigoon Chorus, 391 Laura Comiskey on Skater, 392 Bryony Puddicombe on Destiny of Her Own, 393 Jason Comiskey on Ramona. Score there for Rick Hopkins on Oaks Spin and Dole of 21.58 and 3 for an 82. Together with his 15.5 gives him a 97.5. In camp now, competitor 390, we have Byron Davison riding Berrigoon Chorus. He's going to build on his first round score of 87. Standby at the gate, next in camp, 391 Laura Comiskey, 392 Bryony Puddicombe, 393 Jason Comiskey, 394 Hewan Smith. Score through there for Byron Davison of 20, 60 and 4 for an 84. Together with his 87 gives him a total of 171. In camp now, looking over at cattle, 391, Laura Comiskey riding Skater. She's building on a 23 from the first round. Score there for Laura Comiskey of 16 only, together with the 23 from the first round, gives her a 39. In camp now, we are watching competitor 392, Bryony Puddicombe, on Destiny of Her Own. She's building on a first round score of 21.5. Next into camp will be 393, Jason Comiskey on Ramona, 394, Hewan Smith on Stockhaven Sonnet, 395, Michael Hayes on Shaydak Maserati, 396, Pete Comiskey on Seligance, 397, Craig McNabb on Westlake Confedera, 398, Ben Hall on Hall's Poetic. Score there for Bryony, 22, 61.5 and 4 for an 87.5, together with a 21.5 from the first round, gives her a total of 109. In camp now, competitor 393, Jason Comiskey riding Ramona, building on a 21 from the first round. 394 will be next in camp, Hewan Smith, 395, Michael Hayes, 396, Pete Comiskey, and 397, Craig McNabb. .21 only there for Jason Comiskey, with a 21 from the first round gives him a total of 42. In camp, competitor 394, Hewan Smith riding Stockhaven Sonnet. He's building on a 22 from the first round. 395 will move into camp then, Michael Hayes on Shaydak Maserati, 396 on standby, Pete Comiskey, 397, Craig McNabb, 398, Ben Hall, 399, Ty Blockland, 400, Morgan Farndon. We are not dragging the arena at 400. We will be completing the second round this afternoon. We will be not stopping to drag the arena. And at 5 o'clock we'll be doing the cutout for the maiden and potentially the cutout for the open. So if you have a 23, the maiden or the open, be ready for that 5 o'clock cutout. Just a reminder, backyard men, judges, everybody on the grounds, we're not dragging the arena at 400. We'll be completing the second round of the McKechnie Earthmoving Open draft. It's unfortunately no score there for Hewen, so leaves him with his 22 from the first round. Tidy up that camp. We have competitor 395, Michael Hayes on Shadak Maserati moving into camp, building on that first round score of 22. Non-standby 396, Pete Comiskey on Seligance, 397, Craig McNabb on Westlake Confederate, 398, Ben Hall, 399, Ty Blockland, 400 will be Morgan Farndon, 401, Peter Black, and 402, Matthew Moffat. Shout out to the Willinga Pastoral Co, this line of cattle that's just keep coming. Beautiful line of cattle, so thank you so much to the Willinga Pastoral Co. And a special shout out to our open judges today, Mr. Trader Wilson and Mr. Al Sullivan. Score there for Michael Hayes of 22, 62 and a half and 4 for an 88 and a half. Together with his 22 from the first round gives him a total of 110 and a half. In camp, 396, Pete Comiskey riding Seligance, building on a 79 from the first round. Next into camp, 397, Craig McNabb, 398, Ben Hall, 399, Ty Blockland, and 400, Morgan Farndon. So at 5 o'clock, a reminder, if you have a 23 in the Open, in the second round of the Open, if you have a 23, you'll need to be on standby to run off that cutout. It's worth $1,000. So if you have a 23, be ready at 5 o'clock. It will be run off this afternoon at 5 o'clock. Score there for Pete Comiskey on Seligance is a 22, 60 and a half and a 4 for an 86 and a half, together with his 79 from the first round, gives him a total of 165 and a half. In camp now, competitor 397, Craig McNabb, riding Westlake Confederate, building on a score from the first round of 14 and a half. Next into camp, 398, Ben Hall on Hall's Poetic, 399, Ty Blockland on Has Action Shaker, 400, Morgan Farndon on Cuddles, 401, Peter Black on Raycon, 402, Matthew Moffat on Conflict, 403, Wayne Deneen on Hazelwood Coal, 404, William Tapp on Flashed Spot, 405, Phil Mansion on Rockin' in Style, 406, Mark Butsworth on Stylish Abilene, 407, John Mulcahy, and Stratton Jest Rosie. Score through there for Craig McNabb of a 16 only, together with his 14.5 from the first round, gives him a total of 30.5. Camp now 398. We watch Ben Hall on Hall's Poetic. He's building on a first round of 82.5. Next into camp will be 399. Ty Blockland riding Has Action Shaker. 400 Morgan Farndon on Cuddles and 401 Peter Black on Raycon. So don't forget maiden riders that all maiden for maiden riders with full scores in the maiden will be eligible for the maiden for maiden final. So if you've got a full score, you'll be eligible for the maiden for maiden final, and the draw will be sent out this afternoon. So don't forget that the Calcutta on the maiden for maiden tonight will be at the bar at 7 p.m, followed by the live flight auction of that beautiful Taroom Welding Works fire pit. So unfortunately no score there for Ben, so he goes out with his 82.5 from the first round. In camp now, we'll have a tidy up. 399, Ty Blockland riding Has Action Shaker, and he's building on a 22 from the first round. Next into camp on standby, 400 Morgan Farndon, 401 Peter Black, 402 Matthew Moffat, 403 Wayne Deneen, 404 William Tapp, 405 Phil Manchin. Score there for Ty Blockland of 19, 62.5 and 4 for an 85.5. Together with his 22 from the first round, gives him a total of 107.5. In camp now, competitor 400, Morgan Farndon on Cuddles. She's building on a 79 from the first round. 401 will then move into camp Peter Black on Raycon, 402 Matthew Moffat, 403 Wayne Deneen. Just had a message that the coffee lady has about 20 minutes left to go. So if you want a coffee, a frappe, smoothie, please, milkshake, please go and see the wonderful lady up there in the coffee van. She'll be going home, she'll be back tomorrow.
Hey, what number, yeah?
Score there for Morgan Farndon of a 15 only, together with her 79 from the first round, gives her a total of 94. So we are having that change of cattle there. We are at 400. Have 18 more competitors to complete the second round of the McKechnie Earthmoving Open draft. And we are still hoping that all those people that have had 23s in the second round of this Open are on standby, because we will be running off that cutout this afternoon after the maiden cutout runoff.